This message is uncomfortable, but you need it. Because if you don't understand this truth about women, you'll end up like thousands of men in their 40s and 50s, lonely, frustrated, and asking themselves why it never worked. But today, you're going to hear what nobody told you before. Once you see this to the end, you'll understand attraction in a way that most men never do. The silent judgment. From the very first second a woman lays her eyes on you, something happens that most men never notice. A silent judgment begins. It's not about the words you say, it's not about how much effort you put in, it's about what she feels. And here's the part that shocks most men. Women feel before they think. Logic comes later. First comes instinct. Her brain is scanning you instantly. How you walk, how you hold your shoulders, the way your eyes meet the room, even the rhythm of your breathing. Within seconds, her instincts decide whether you are a man worth noticing or just another blur in the background. This is the invisible filter most men don't even know exists. They believe attraction starts with clever lines, expensive dates, or long conversations. Wrong. It starts in silence. It starts before you speak. And that moment, those first few seconds, can raise you above the crowd or bury you with the rest. Think about it. When you enter a room with nervous energy, shifting your weight, avoiding eye contact, she feels it. You don't even need to say a word. Your presence already told her everything: insecure, unsure, not in control. And once her instinct labels you this way, it's almost impossible to change her perception. But when you enter with calm authority, slow movements, grounded posture, eyes that don't run away, she feels something completely different. Security, strength, presence. Suddenly, you are not just another guy. You're someone to watch. Someone who stands apart without even trying. Most men never train this. They spend years memorizing pickup lines, chasing validation, or trying to impress with external things, money, clothes, cars. But none of that works if her first instinct already said weak. The silent judgment is cruel, yes, but it's also your greatest weapon once you understand it. Because while most men ignore it, you can master it. Here's the truth. Women are not measuring your words. They are measuring you, your inner strength, your emotional balance, the way you respond to pressure without breaking. That's why silence can be louder than any sentence. That's why presence is stronger than gifts. That's why control of yourself is the foundation of attraction. If you fail to understand this, you will keep repeating the same mistakes, talking more, trying harder, giving everything, and still getting ignored. But once you master the silent judgment, everything changes. You no longer need luck. You no longer need games. Your presence itself does the work. Because when a woman feels your energy before you even speak, she doesn't forget it. Why men keep failing? Most men ignore this simple truth, and that's exactly why they keep failing over and over again. They repeat the same patterns, chase the same type of situations, and end up frustrated, wasting time, money, and emotions on women who were never going to choose them in the first place. Here's the problem. Men are taught to believe effort is everything. Be nice, be generous, work hard, prove yourself. That if you do enough, eventually she will reward you with attention, respect, and love. But reality doesn't work that way. Attraction doesn't reward effort, it responds to presence. Think about it. How many men spend months texting, calling, buying gifts, taking women out, only to end up as just a friend? How many men sacrifice their time and energy trying to convince her to feel something she never felt in the first place? They keep pushing, thinking persistence will win her over, when in truth, every extra move makes them look weaker. Why? Because women don't measure attraction by effort, they measure it by instinct. She doesn't sit down and make a list of how much you've done for her. She doesn't calculate who spent the most money or who tried the hardest. Instead, her body reads your energy in silence. Are you confident? Are you in control? Do you bring stability or chaos? These answers decide more than your words ever will. And here's the brutal truth. Most men never learn this. They believe the next date, the next text, the next favor will finally tip the scales, but it never does. Because attraction is not logical. You cannot negotiate it. You cannot beg for it. You cannot buy it. So men keep failing. They waste years chasing women who never respected them. They waste opportunities by projecting weakness instead of strength. And when it all falls apart, they blame luck, timing, or women themselves, instead of realizing the mistake was in their approach from the start. The reason men fail is not because they are ugly, poor, or unlucky. The reason men fail is because they don't understand the rules of the game. They try to play with effort when the game is decided by perception. And until they stop ignoring this, history will repeat itself. Heartbreak after heartbreak, failure after failure. But once you see this, you can break the cycle. You can stop wasting time on strategies that never work and start building presence that women can actually feel. That's when everything changes. 3. Machiavelli's lesson. Niccolò Machiavelli was not writing about dating. He was writing about power, but his lesson is timeless, and it applies just as much to attraction as it does to politics. Machiavelli understood something most men still refuse to accept. The world is cruel to men who ignore the invisible rules of power. It doesn't matter how kind you are, it doesn't matter how much effort you put in. If you fail to project strength, the world will treat you as weak. And in seduction, it's no different. Most men think attraction is about decoration. They believe if they collect enough shiny things, money, cars, muscles, clothes, women will line up. But Machiavelli would laugh at that, because he knew power is not about possessions. Power is not even about force. True power is perception. Think about it. A king doesn't need to fight every battle himself. His presence alone makes others obey. A lion doesn't need to roar at every animal. Its silence already demands respect. This is the essence of Machiavelli's lesson. Power isn't forced, it's felt. And women, more than anyone, feel it instantly. When you enter a room, she's not measuring your bank account. She's not secretly calculating the size of your muscles. She's reading your energy. Are you calm under pressure? Do you command space without trying? Do others turn toward you naturally? These subtle signals speak louder than any car, watch, or line you can throw at her. And here's the truth most men miss. Women don't fall for what you own. They fall for what you project. A man with quiet confidence will always outshine a man with desperate displays. Why? Because confidence is scarce. Confidence is power. And power, as Machiavelli warned, is never given. It is taken, and more importantly, shown. That's why some men with average looks and no wealth still capture attention everywhere they go, while others with everything still remain invisible. The difference is not reality, it's perception. Machiavelli's lesson is clear. The invisible rules of power govern everything: politics, business, and yes, attraction. Ignore them, and you will forever be overlooked. Master them, and you'll never need to chase again. Because true power is never about forcing anyone to see your worth. It's about becoming the kind of man who makes it impossible to ignore. The tests never stop. Here's the brutal truth most men don't want to hear. Women will always test you. It doesn't matter if it's the 3rd day of dating or the 10th year of marriage, the tests never stop. A sarcastic comment, a tricky question, an awkward silence, even a sudden mood swing that seems to come out of nowhere. Most men think these are accidents, random behaviors, or signs that something is wrong. But they're not. They're instinct. Deep, biological instinct. Women test because they need to know if the man standing beside them is truly strong enough to carry the weight of leadership, stability, and protection. Here's what most men get wrong. They think these tests are personal attacks. They get defensive, argue back, or fold under pressure. And every time they do, something inside her changes. She doesn't see strength, she sees weakness. And once she sees weakness, attraction dies. Sometimes instantly, sometimes slowly, but always inevitably. Think about it. If she makes a sharp remark and you overreact, she knows you're fragile. If she withdraws into silence and you panic, she knows you're insecure. If she asks a loaded question and you stumble nervously, she knows you can't hold the frame. Every failure confirms the same thing: you're not in control. But if you pass the test, calmly, playfully, without losing your center, the result is completely different. Suddenly, her instinct relaxes. She feels safe. She feels your strength without you needing to shout about it. And her attraction grows because women are not attracted to perfection. They're attracted to resilience. That's why the tests never stop. They are not games designed to annoy you. They are her subconscious way of asking, "Are you still the man I can trust?" And if you think you can escape them, you're wrong. No amount of time, no level of commitment, no marriage vows will erase them. They are part of human nature. So the real question isn't, will she test me? The real question is, how will I respond when she does? Most men fail because they crumble, they take the bait, they lose composure. But the men who understand this rule, they pass without effort. They stay grounded, laugh off the pressure, and show that nothing can shake them. That's when a woman feels she's with someone rare, a man she can't easily replace. Because in the end, the tests never stop. But neither does the respect and attraction, if you prove again and again that you can handle them. 5. The rule of reaction. There is one rule that separates strong men from weak ones. It's simple, but brutal. Never overreact. Every woman, every person, every situation will push you, provoke you, test you. And in that moment, your reaction defines your value. Not your looks, not your money, not your charm, your reaction. Most men fail because they can't control themselves. A sarcastic comment makes them angry. A silence makes them insecure. A question makes them rush to explain themselves. They hand away their power piece by piece and don't even realize it. Here's the truth: the more you talk, the more you expose your insecurity. The more you explain, the more you show you need approval. The more you react emotionally, the more you reveal weakness. And every insecure word destroys your value in her eyes. Think about it. A man who panics when challenged is not a leader. He's a child. A man who explains himself without being asked is not confident. He's desperate. A man who can't stay calm under pressure doesn't project strength. He projects chaos, and women feel it instantly. But the man who stays calm, who lets silence hang in the air without fear, who answers with few words, or sometimes no words at all, that man becomes magnetic. Because calmness is rare, composure is power, and silence, when used correctly, is louder than shouting. This is the rule of reaction. Don't hand out explanations nobody asked for. Don't let emotions run ahead of your frame. Don't give away your power by proving, defending, or begging to be understood. A king does not explain himself. A lion does not apologize for existing. And a man who masters his reactions doesn't need to prove anything, because his presence already proves everything. Here's the paradox: the less you react, the more control you have. The less you speak, the more your words matter. The less you explain, the more people lean in to understand you. Women especially sense this. A man who cannot be shaken, who responds with calm precision, becomes unforgettable. So remember, the test is not in what happens to you. The test is in how you react. Every situation is a chance to either lose power or project it. And the man who learns to stay calm under fire is the man who never has to chase again. Perception versus reality. Machiavelli once said, "Perception is stronger than reality." And most men never understand how brutally true this is, not just in politics, but in attraction, power, and everyday life. You can be loyal, hardworking, honest, and kind. You can have the best intentions in the world. But if what you project is weakness, none of it matters. Because people, especially women, don't live inside your reality. They live inside the perception you create. This is why men get confused. They say, "But I'm a good man. I provide. I care. I give everything." And yet, they're ignored, overlooked, or abandoned. Why? Because their perception didn't match their reality. Deep down, they might be strong. But outwardly, they projected insecurity, neediness, or fragility. And perception kills reality. Even the smallest moments expose you. Imagine you're at dinner and the waiter makes a mistake. Do you overreact, complain, and lose composure? Or do you stay calm, correct it smoothly, and keep control of the situation? To you, it may seem small, but to her, it reveals everything. Your reaction in tiny moments is a window into your true strength. Here's the part most men miss. Women are not consciously analyzing these things. They're not keeping a checklist. It's instinct. They feel it before they think it. They read your posture, your tone, your patience, and your presence. And if you fail in those moments, you can't talk your way out of it later. Once perception is set, reality doesn't matter. But here's the good news. Perception can be shaped. You don't need to fake it. You don't need to be someone else. You just need to master how the world experiences you. That means training calmness under pressure. That means speaking less, but with certainty. That means carrying yourself as if you already know your worth. because when you do, others start to believe it too. Machiavelli's warning is clear. Life is not fair. Reality alone doesn't save you. Perception is the battlefield. Ignore it, and you will always be misunderstood, undervalued, and overlooked. But master it, and suddenly the world treats you differently. Doors open. Respect follows. Attraction flows naturally, because in the end, people don't respond to who you are. They respond to who they believe you are. 7. Mystery equals desire. There's one truth men keep forgetting. Mystery creates desire. The moment you become predictable, the game is over. Fail her hidden exams, show her every card too soon, and she knows exactly what to expect. And when there's no mystery left, there's no desire left either. Most men think approval is the key. They rush to answer every question, to explain every detail, to make sure she knows everything about them. They give away their story, their emotions, their plans, all in the hope that full honesty will win her over. But instead, it kills the spark, because the unknown is what keeps her mind turning. The unknown is what fuels her attraction. The strongest men understand this instinctively. They don't beg for approval. They don't reveal every thought, every feeling, every move. Instead, they radiate independence. They give just enough to keep her curious, and hold back enough to keep her chasing. Think about it. Which book do you keep reading? The one that reveals the ending on page 1, or the one that pulls you deeper with every chapter? Desire works the same way. The mystery keeps her invested. The unpredictability keeps her drawn in. The independence keeps her respect intact. When you are too available, too predictable, too eager, she feels she has you already. And the moment she feels she has you completely, her attraction begins to fade. But when you maintain mystery, when you show strength without explaining it, when you share but never overshare, when you can walk away at any moment, suddenly you become magnetic. Because independence is rare. Most men suffocate women with neediness. They can't stand silence, distance, or resistance. But a man who thrives without constant reassurance, who doesn't need validation, who stays grounded even when tested, that man stands apart. He becomes the mystery she can't solve, the fire she can't put out. In the end, mystery is not about playing games or hiding who you are. It's about refusing to hand away your entire value up front. It's about letting her discover you slowly, piece by piece, so desire never dies. Because the strongest men know, once you lose mystery, you lose everything. But when you protect it, you become unforgettable. The choice is yours. Now comes the moment every man must face, the choice. You can keep walking the same road that thousands of men before you have walked, the road of failure, the road where invisible tests crush you again and again, the road of confusion, frustration, and wasted years, the road where you keep giving, explaining, chasing, and wondering why it never works. Or you can make a different choice. You can choose to stop playing blind. You can choose to stop being the man who reacts, explains, and apologizes for his very existence. You can choose to stop failing the same tests, the sarcastic comments, the awkward silences, the moments of pressure that separate the strong from the weak. Because here's the truth. Those tests will never stop. Life will never stop. Women will never stop measuring you. The question is not whether it happens. The question is whether you are ready. And the only way to be ready is to learn strategy, presence, and control. Strategy means you stop moving blindly. You understand the rules of perception. You see the patterns hidden beneath her words and actions. You no longer confuse effort with attraction or gifts with desire. You act with precision instead of desperation. Presence means you master yourself. Your energy, your calmness, your silence. You project strength without forcing it. You command attention without begging for it. You become the man who doesn't chase approval because he carries his own approval within him. And control means you decide how the game is played, not by manipulation, not by lies, but by holding your frame when everything around you tests it, by refusing to collapse under pressure, by standing firm in your power no matter the situation. Thousands of men fail because they never make this choice. They keep hoping luck will save them. They keep hoping effort will change her mind. They keep hoping reality will outweigh perception. But it never does. So here you are, standing at the crossroads, two paths, one of weakness, one of power, one of endless frustration, one of transformation. The choice is yours. Conquest versus maintenance. Every man thinks the hardest part is the conquest. Getting her attention, winning her interest, making her laugh, sparking desire. But here's the truth, that's the easy part. Any man with a bit of charm, timing, or even luck can conquer. But what separates men who are remembered from those who are forgotten is not conquest, it's maintenance. And here's the brutal reality, maintenance is the real war. Because once the initial excitement fades, once the novelty wears off, once routine sets in, that's where most men collapse. They stop being sharp. They stop being strategic. They get lazy. They think, I've won her, now I can relax. And that's exactly when they start losing her. Why? Because attraction doesn't feed on routine. Desire doesn't grow in predictability. The moment you become too easy to read, too available, too predictable, the fire dies. Women don't test you only in the beginning. They test you forever. Not out of cruelty, but out of instinct. They need to feel your strength. They need to feel your presence. They need to feel that the man they chose is still a man worth choosing. That's why conquest is nothing without maintenance. Conquest wins the first battle. Maintenance wins the war. And here is where strategy enters. The man who maintains attraction long-term understands distance. He understands tension. He understands that mystery is not a trick. It's oxygen for desire. He gives enough to connect, but not so much that he becomes suffocating. He stays present, but not predictable. He remains calm, but never passive. The weak man gives everything, his time, his energy, his attention. He thinks love means surrender. He becomes predictable, boring, and dependent. And slowly, without realizing it, he kills her desire. The strong man, the strategic man, understands balance. He knows when to step forward and when to step back. He knows when to speak and when silence is stronger. He doesn't drown her with neediness, he lets her breathe. And that space, that subtle distance, makes her chase him again and again. Remember this, conquest is a spark, maintenance is the flame. Without strategy, the spark dies. With strategy, the flame burns for years. Conquest is easy, maintenance is the real war, and only men with strategy survive it. 10. Your move now. It's on you. We've talked about attraction, strategy, and the invisible rules that decide whether a man wins or loses. But here's the truth. All of it only matters if you actually apply it. Theory doesn't change your life, action does. And today, action means one simple decision. How do you open? Because the first words you say set the entire tone. Most men blow it right there. They play it safe with something boring, predictable, robotic. Hey, how are you? Nice weather, huh? That's not attraction. That's background noise. She's heard it 100 times today. But when you open with strategy, you instantly shift the energy. You plant a seed of curiosity in her mind. You create tension. And tension is where desire is born. So here's the challenge. Drop a comment right now. What's better to open a conversation? A. An unexpected compliment. Short, sharp, not desperate. Something that makes her stop for half a second and think, wait, what did he just say? Or B. An open question that breaks the script. Something that forces her out of autopilot, that makes her reveal something real, something she didn't plan to share. Which one do you believe hits harder? Which one have you tried? Which one would you use tonight if the opportunity came? This isn't just about you. Your answer could be the one that gives another man here the courage to try something new. It could change the way he approaches women forever. So don't hold back. Choose your weapon. Type A or B in the comments and tell us why. Your move. Bro, this is the truth nobody else will tell you. But once you master it, you'll never look at women, attraction, or yourself the same way again.